So this is our rebreathing system that we use for anesthesia on patients that are over 10 kilograms in weight. So when we are talking about the oxygen flow of the rebreathing system, the first step that we're looking at is the oxygen compressed cylinder. This cylinder in particular is an E cylinder, which carries 700 liters of compressed oxygen. It also contains 2,200 PSI. So once we turn on the oxygen, which we already have on, the oxygen will travel through the yoke, which acts as a connection piece from the cylinder to the anesthetic machine. So once we're at the yoke, we will then go to the pressure reducing valve. So the pressure reducing valve does just exactly that, reduces pressure from 2,200 PSI down to 45 to 50 PSI, which makes it safe for the anesthetic machine, not yet quite safe for the patient. This is the pressure gauge. This is where we can kind of monitor how much our PSI is sitting at. And then once we go from the pressure reducing valve, we will be traveling over to the oxygen tubing. From the oxygen tubing, we will go directly to the oxygen flow meter. This kind of directly allows us to monitor and control how much of the oxygen we are able to deliver to our patient. This also will reduce the PSI further from the 45 to 50 PSI that we're currently at down to 15 to 20 PSI, which will now make it safe for the patient to inhale. So once we are done with the oxygen flow meter, we will enter the vaporizer inlet. The oxygen will enter the precision vaporizer. The oxygen will mix in with the liquid inhalant, turning the inhalant into a vapor. Then once we are a vapor, we will travel through the vaporizer outlet all the way to the inhalation valve. If we are ready to take a breath at this point on, the negative pressure valve will remove the excess negative pressure in the air that has traveled up here and will directly travel to the inspiratory tubing system. If we are not ready to take a breath yet, then the inhalant and the oxygen will kind of sit in this reservoir bag until the patient is ready to take a breath. So once we have taken a breath, this will directly enter the ET tube into the patient. Once we have exhaled, it will enter the exhalation tubing, which is this clear part here. So it's a one-way system. This prevents any backflow of any inhalant or carbon dioxide that we've just exhaled. And then we will enter this further extension of the exhalant tubing. And then once we have entered here, we can go one of two ways. If we can recycle the excess product or the product that we have just exhaled, we can enter the pop-off valve into the scavenge system down to the F air canister. All the carbon dioxide and waste product will be filtered throughout there and then released out into the air. If we cannot recycle any of the product that we have just created in regards to carbon dioxide and such, this will enter the exhalation valve into the sodium lime canister, or the carbon dioxide canister. It will be filtered up through the soda lime pellets, and then we will enter the inhalation valve. Once again, if we are ready to take a breath, it will enter the inspiratory tubing. If not, we will enter the reservoir bag. Once we are ready to take a breath, then that recycled air will go back into the inspiratory tubing to be used once again by the patient.